You think you lose control because pressure is high, because the criticism was sharp, because the failure was public, because the rejection was unexpected. That is not the real reason. You lose control because your identity is unstable. Watch what happens when someone challenges you. Your chest tightens, your thoughts narrow. You rush to explain, you rush to defend, you rush to restore something. Restore what? Your image. Criticism feels like attack. Failure feels like exposure. Rejection feels like collapse. Not because the event is powerful, but because something inside you feels threatened. And that something is not survival, it is identity. And identity follows structure. The mind is a command structure. Identity is its core. If identity is dependent, command weakens. If command weakens, emotion leads. And emotion does not defend truth. It defends ego stability. Look at your reactions closely. If your identity is built on being respected, disrespect shakes you. If it is built on being competent, failure destabilizes you. If it is built on being admired, criticism wounds you. You may appear strong, but if your calm disappears when your image is threatened, your strength is conditional. The ego constructs a self-image, then it spends its life defending it. And the more you defend identity, the easier it is to destabilize you. You think you are protecting dignity, you are protecting attachment, and culture mistakes that attachment for confidence. You were taught that confidence makes you invincible. Believe in yourself, project strength, defend your image. But confidence built on image is still dependency. It requires reinforcement. It requires performance. It requires cooperation from the world. The moment reality contradicts the image, the system trembles. What most people call strong personality is often just a well-defended ego. Loud certainty, fast reactions, immediate justification. But defense is not invincibility. It is fragility disguised as power. If you must constantly restore how you are perceived, you are negotiating with the world for identity permission, and negotiation is weakness. Because what can be negotiated can be controlled. If someone can destabilize you by attacking your role, your reputation, your success, your intelligence, then your identity is externally anchored, and externally anchored identity is always at risk. This is where pressure truly gains power. Because when identity is attached to external markers, every external fluctuation becomes existential. A failed project feels like personal collapse. A critical comment feels like humiliation. A loss of status feels like erasure. You do not respond to the event. You respond to what it implies about you, and implication drives panic. Watch two men under criticism. One pauses and evaluates. The other reacts instantly. One asks, "Is this true?" The other asks, "How do I restore my image?" One remains steady. The other defends. The difference is not personality. It is attachment. If your identity can be shaken, it can be steered. If it can be steered, it can be controlled. Now Stoic law becomes necessary. Not comforting, necessary. And that law begins with separation. Epictetus drew a line most people avoid. You are not your role. You are not your reputation. You are not your success or your failure. These are assignments, not identity. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself constantly, remove the opinion, and disturbance dissolves. What does that mean structurally? It means the event does not define you. Your judgment about what it means defines the reaction. From this emerge three disciplines. First, nothing external defines the self. Second, emotional disturbance signals identity attachment. Third, what can be taken from you was never structural. This is not comfort. It is detachment from fragility. Identity must be anchored in internal law, not external approval. But anchoring requires examination. Here is the principle most people resist. You must audit the identity structure producing your emotion. When anger rises, ask, what image is being threatened? When anxiety appears, ask, what outcome is defining me? When shame surfaces, ask, what external standard am I obeying? This interrogation exposes ego anchors, and once exposed, they weaken. Over time, identity shifts. You stop asking, "How do I look?" You start asking, "Did I act according to my rule?" This is inner invincibility, not numbness, not arrogance, not indifference, structural independence. But most people fail here. They detach intellectually while secretly preserving one anchor: success. Being right, being admired, being superior. As long as one external anchor remains, you are still controllable. You are only as stable as the identity you refuse to question. If your sense of self depends on what can be removed, pressure will always control you. If criticism can shake you, image owns you. If failure can define you, outcome owns you. If rejection can collapse you, approval owns you. The world cannot destabilize what is not attached to it. The ego negotiates, the Stoic does not. Because the mind anchored in internal law cannot be leveraged, and what cannot be leveraged cannot be controlled. If you're committed to emotional control and psychological command, subscribe and stand with this community. Like the video to support content that builds mental armor, and comment "Titan in training" if you're serious about growth. Let's build pressure that forges strength. Strength grows in silence, but titans train together.